Hey, it's the Blind Insomniac here, and today I will be ranking all of the Remembrance bosses. Now, my ranking will be based on my opinion, yes, my opinion, I know, crazy, as a blind man, because, I'm fucking blind. I will also be ranking some of their phases separately, as some of them are just completely different, as, like, Elden Beast, Radagon are two different bosses. I also have beaten all of these bosses with and without summons, as well as with every single weapon class in the game. The only thing I haven't done is rune level 1, and I'm still planning on doing that eventually. Anyway, now that the ground rules have been laid out, let's get into the actual ranking. I forgot to mention, but I will be putting a quick overlay over every single one of the bosses just for a couple seconds so you can see what I see and see more where I'm coming from, because I'm sure some of your favorite bosses will be towards the bottom of the list just because they are almost impossible for me to fight. In dead last, number 18th, Fortisax. I honestly hate every single part of this fight, from not being able to lock onto his legs, to the countdown lightning, to him in his arena just being dark as fuck. The only good part of this boss is the quest line that you have to do for Fia to get here, and even that is a little bit questionable. Unfortunately, there's just nothing that makes this boss even worth anything in my opinion, and I skip him every single run, because honestly, he might be one of the worst bosses in any of the games for me. Number 17, Malekith. I know, he's probably your favorite, and I have him really low. So first of all, his phase 2, I can't see, so I have to do everything based on only audio anytime he jumps up in the air. This makes the fight extremely difficult for me and just not very much fun because there is no audio cues for things in the air, which makes sense from a gameplay standpoint. One of the problems that I have is if I mistime a single dodge while he's doing his air combo, it'll instantly stun lock me into just getting completely destroyed, and there's nothing I can do to stop that from happening. His openings are almost non-existent with a lot of the slower weapons, and every single time I beat him, it's basically just RNG. I don't ever feel like I beat the fight by just dodging properly. I feel like it's just been luck, and I hate that for a fight. The only thing that's been keeping me from putting Malekith in last place is the fact that he doesn't have a huge health pool, so normally his fight doesn't last too long providing I can actually get lucky. Number 16, Fire Giant. Honestly, this boss isn't good even if you do have eyesight, and it's just that much worse if you don't. So my big problems with him is he gets stuck on the rocks all the time so you can't hit his foot. He takes a lot of damage, and him rolling away constantly is really annoying. And phase 2, he just ends up taking that much more damage. His Fire Breath attack makes you either jump on Torrent or die. Those are your only two options with that, and it's really annoying because sometimes you can get stuck on a rock and that'll kill you, or many other things in the arena that you can get stuck on, or sometimes his fire will bounce off the tree and kill you. It's just fucking stupid. Not to mention, the beginning of phase 2, he does this meteor shower attack, and the meteors can go through his body and hit you multiple times in the same strike, insta-killing you regardless of your health. And that's just really, really bad. So it means that at the beginning of phase 2, when you think you would actually have an opening to get some damage in, you don't, and you will just die if you try to do any damage. So you have to run away from him. And then on your way back up to him, he just spams fireballs at you. He is just such a poorly made boss. Number 15, Elden Beast. I'm blind. I don't like running. So why the fuck am I chasing this boss this entire time? It's just a running simulator. Like, you hit him once, he runs away. He runs away. He spams as you run towards him, so if you mistime a single dodge, you're losing a good chunk of your health because he does kinda hit hard. And then you get to him, and he runs the fuck away. Also, some other attacks that are super problematic and just suck ass. Elden Stars. To this day, still don't know how to dodge it. It's been one of the big reasons why I haven't started my rune level 1. His other attack that he does is the weird raining arrow thingy, shard arrow back spine shit. What the fuck is that? And how come, even if you run in circles perfectly, there's still that like 5% chance one of those arrows will stab you in the fucking foot. And if you get hit by one of those little arrows and it staggers you just a little bit, you're fucked. He is just dog shit for a final boss. Overall, as a boss, he's bad. But as a final boss, Number 14, Estelle. Honestly, Estelle is just too big for the camera, and that's pretty much my whole gripe. Most of his attacks come from off the screen. His grab attack has a pretty good audio cue, so I don't normally get caught in it. He's just too big for the camera. There's really not much else to say. Oh, and his meteor shower sucks ass, but that's just as it is. Number 13, Horalu. Dude, calm the fuck down. Slow down. Too many attacks, very few openings. I'm not happy with it. Also, his grab attacks are completely broken. I hate everything about them. They always catch me in the middle of a roll while I'm like 10 feet away from him. They piss me the fuck off. I absolutely despise them. Also, finding good times to get attacks in is extremely painful. Another thing I really dislike is the huge stomps that take the entire arena. That's just not fun to try to dodge all the time. His speed and combos just make the fight not very fun, and his like 7 or 8 hit combo that he does all at once, I still to this day, if I can't like run away from it in time, it just kills me, and I have no way of being able to dodge it. Number 12, Radahn. So Radahn is the last boss that I actually dislike in this list. The rest of the bosses are either bosses that I don't mind or I actually do really enjoy. There's not much in between. Now with Radahn, the problem I have is I can't see his attacks. They all come from off screen, and once he hits phase 2, his arena gets too dark for me to see anything other than his lightning, and there's not really anything I can do. He would be a lot lower on this list if I wasn't able to summon in a bunch of NPCs to kill him for me, just because I actually can't fight him. The spectacle, the first time I walked into his arena field, was amazing. And that does give him a decent amount of brownie points, even though normally I wouldn't include something like that. Number 11, Beast Clergyman. Yes, he's above Malekith. Yes, I'm ranking him on his own. Only problem I have with the Beast Clergyman is dude is fast. That's about it. That's like the only thing that I could say I don't like, and it's just his 4-hit combo that's actually difficult for me to dodge. Apart from that, his health is pretty low, so I end up killing him pretty quickly. But I do overall enjoy the fight, and you'd never think I do because I hate Malekith so fucking much that I normally just bitch as I'm going through the Beast Clergyman phase. But if I could fight him just on his own, I think this would be up there. Breaking the top 10 now. In the number 10th spot, we have Godfrey. Now, Godfrey would be a lot higher if Farosh wasn't on his shoulder. Farosh? Who the fuck is Farosh? Sorry, Sarosh. Anyway, with Sarosh being on his shoulder, it's very hard for me to see what's going on and what he's doing just because there's so much fur that kind of clutters up my screen with such a small amount of peripheral vision that I have. If it wasn't for this, he would actually probably be top of the list. Number 9, Regal Ancestor Spirit. Yeah, I know, it's above Godfrey. You could swap either one of these out, to be honest. For me, it's just, I can see the Regal Ancestor Spirit, and that's really the only reason it's higher than Godfrey. Anyway, the problems with this boss, I guess, are his hitbox can be a little bit hard to hit, and the goat roll is pretty hard to dodge through. Apart from that, his health pool is so low that I kill him too quickly to even realize that it's a fight. It honestly doesn't feel like it's a fight. Number 8, Renala. So phase 1 is a gimmick, so who cares, we're just gonna move on to phase 2. Some of the problems is she runs away and summons, and that's basically where the problems stop, which is really good. Her summons can be pretty annoying to deal with, especially if she summons in the troll or the dragon, but with both of those, you basically just run around for a little bit, they disappear, and then you can just slap her up. I'm still not super fond of this fight just because it is another chase them down fight, and that's not the best, but her health pool isn't super high and none of her attacks are really cheap apart from the summoning, and she's always within my sight, which is a huge plus. Number 7, Placidusax. So with Placidusax, he just kind of sits there like a bump on a log while you abuse him, which is kind of fun. But apart from that, he goes invisible at the beginning of phase 2, and that's just all audio for me. I know you can see him in the thunderclouds, but you can see him in the thunderclouds. I cannot. So I normally have to bring the Opaline Bubble Tier to survive that attack, and so long as he doesn't do it a second time, I'm normally pretty good. Apart from that, there's there's not really much else to say about this fight. He's got the nuke, and that's pretty cool. Overall, his boss arena and his design are phenomenal. He's not a bad fight by any means. Lasers can be a little bit difficult to deal with if you're far away from him when he starts them, but you just kind of slap his tail a bunch, and that's the fight. Number 6, we have Rykard. Now, Rykard would be at the very bottom of the list if we're not using the Serpent Hunter, but I'm taking this as we're using the Serpent Hunter. So his fight is lots of fun, to be honest, for a gimmick fight. Overall, gimmick fights aren't normally my go-to. I don't generally like them, but I do like Rykard's gimmick fight better than other ones that I've done. Some of the things that I can say that I'm not a huge fan of is I don't like the snake slamming his head into the ground and then the big wave of fire. I don't really know how to dodge that one. The skulls can be kind of difficult at times, but there's really not much to say on Rykard as a boss, because he is just a gimmick. Coming in at number 5, we have Moog, Lord of Blood. So this is just a fun fight. I love the flow of the fight. I love the boss design. I love just how everything works other than his healing factor. Not a huge fan of that. I think that if you have the bubble to, not take damage by that, and he doesn't take any health from you, he shouldn't get any health back, but that's just my opinion. And his fight is just really fun. Trying to keep enough distance to the point where he will throw his blood flame past you and not on you, but also dodging at the right times to be able to get in good chunks of damage into him. It's just a really fun backing up and getting in close when you have the right opportunities, and I really enjoy the fight for that. Okay, coming in at number 4, we have Morgott. He's just beefier market, but that's not a bad thing. He's got a lot less openings, but as a glass cannon, you can trade a lot with him, making the fight really fun if you're a strength build. He does have a decent amount of openings if you kind of bait them out, which is pretty good, because I find dodging until I can bait out a specific attack very rewarding, even if it is a little bit cheesy of a way to fight. And normally on any of his heavy attacks, you have a good chance if you're using a quick weapon to get in a couple strikes here and there as an easy punish. He really only has one move I don't like, and that's a 7-hit combo, and I am not entirely sure how he starts it. He doesn't normally do that attack because I'm normally right up his ass, so there's not normally a big problem when it comes to that attack. Overall, again, the flow of the fight is phenomenal, and he is just a wonderful boss. On top of that, he's always within my sight, so it makes it very nice. Number 3, Rot Mommy, aka Mulaney. So she's always been a really fun fight for me, even from the first, 200 attempts that it took me to kill her on my first playthrough. Now, only thing I don't like about her is lifesteal, and I think that's something that everybody doesn't like. She's always very easy for me to see, which really brings her up in the ranking, as well as the flow of her fight being as quick paced as it is, being able to get in little bits of damage here and there. And then even if you're a strength build, she can be staggered in a lot of different spots. Not to mention, it is extremely fun to parry her. And nothing comes out of left field for a cheap attack apart from Waterfowl, and Waterfowl is scary, but not that bad once you get the hang of it. And really, once you learn how to dodge it, she just becomes this great rhythm game-esque fight. Now, I might just be saying this because Sekiro is my favorite game, and she was probably designed for Sekiro, but she just is such a good fight. I love it. Not to mention, give me the Redesi. Okay, coming in at number 2, we have Godric the Grafted. I know, the weakest demigod being second on this list must be surprising, but for me, this is just the embodiment of a perfect fight. He doesn't do too much damage, which I honestly think he could do a little bit more damage, and if they upped his health by 30%, he'd probably be number 1. All of his moves are very fluid, they're very fun to dodge. He gives you enough time to back up and heal if you're a new player. His ground pound axe can be jumped for a great punish. Once he enters phase 2, the fire wind attacks are really cool. They're not too bad to dodge. They don't really obstruct vision very much, which is a big problem with a lot of the later bosses and their AoE attacks. His big overhead roll slam is a really great punish window, and it's just a little bit too easy to dodge, but that is what it is. I just think he is the perfect boss, and he just needs a bit more health and a little bit more damage. The only possible problem I could have with him is his tornado attack, and it just comes out so quickly that I think it'll hit you no matter what, so if you're doing a hit less challenge, I could see how you could really hate him. I fucking love this boss. And at number 1, we have Radagon. Now, Radagon is just the perfect fight of the perfect fights. There is pretty much nothing that he does that I dislike apart from his teleport. His moves are super fun to dodge through, they're super fluid, they leave great openings for counterattacks, which really makes it feel like a give and take fight. A lot of these other fights don't have as much give and take as this one does, and that's why it's my favorite. His stomp can be jumped and countered very easily. His slam opens up a great attack window for a charged heavy, but obviously if you miss any of your dodges, you're getting hit in the face with a nuke, and I just think that makes the fight even more rewarding. Every single hit he does feels like it could shake the entire world, and dodging them feels so good. The music is perfect, the boss just looks awesome. He's small enough to always be within your vision, apart from maybe the jump up in the air, but even that, you know how to time it decently well. The 3 hammer slam is super satisfying to dodge, it seems like it's breaking the world in two, and you get some good downtime to be able to slap him up a little bit. I think they should have just continued on with Radagon, they should have scrapped Elden Beast, and maybe just gave him a bit more health, and that would have been the perfect final boss in my opinion. If you disagree with this ranking and for whatever reason have retinitis pigmentosa, which is my eye condition, then please let me know in the comments. If you disagree with it and you have sight, then you're just objectively wrong because this is a subjective list. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to see more ranking videos, please let me know, and if you like this video, feel free to like and sub. It would be great, it would help out my channel a lot, and I think that's what most YouTubers do, right? They beg for likes and subs at the end of the video. Am I doing that right? Let me know in the comments. Alright, everybody have a great rest of your day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Goodbye.